Hello all, I'm Sai and you're watching The Book Dragon. In today's video, I'm bringing to you my latest book haul, and in this book haul, I'm going to show you 17 books, and I've bought all these books after my last book haul, which I did in the beginning of February, I think. Except for the first book which I'm going to show in this book haul, all the other books that I'm going to show you cost just between 150 rupees and 300 rupees each for me, and it was a great steal if you ask me. Since there are a lot of books to go through, let's straight away dive into the book haul. The first book in this book haul is Chain of Thorns by Cassandra Clare, which is the last and final book inside the Last Hour series. The previous book in this one, Chain of Iron, was released way back in 2021, so I've been waiting for 2 years just in order to read the finale for this series, and I should say that it was pretty much worth it. I did not have high expectations for this one because there are some things that the author said before the book got published, and it sort of brought down my expectations for the book because I knew that it was going to end in a different tone than I expected it to, and in that way it was really good if you ask me. Of all the books that I'm going to show in this book haul, this one is the most expensive. I bought this for 1050 rupees, and that's also because I bought it just as soon as it got released. It released on the 31st of Jan 2023, and I bought it in the first week of February itself, and that's why it was very expensive. But it's a good thing that I got the collector's first edition because I have the first two books in the series also as collector's first editions. I'll probably do a detailed review and discussion of this one pretty soon in the channel, so you can look out for it if you are interested. Until then, if you want to know more about this book from me, you can check out my February wrap-up video. The next one is a sci-fi book, and it is Snakeskins by Tim Major. I did not know anything about this book before I bought it, so I just went forward and read the blurb because it was available at a super cheap price. I think I bought it for just 120 rupees, and I should say that the title of the book as well as its cover was super intriguing for me. So what I got from the blurb is that this book happens in a futuristic kind of world where cloning is very normal, and every person has this ceremony called the shedding ceremony, during which they can create a clone of themselves. And our main character here, Caitlin, belongs to a family called Hex, and the specialty for this family is that they can shed each and every 7 years and produce a clone of their own once for every 7 years. But our main character here is not able to produce a clone, and how that is going to affect her and this entire family as a whole is the plot of this book, if I'm not wrong. And the theme that is explored using this book is the threat to individuality and the uniqueness of human beings because of duplication and cloning processes that can be done on living beings itself. That seems super twisted, at the same time very interesting to me, so I'm just going to give this a read, and I hope it will be something which I end up liking. The next one is a non-fiction book, and it is The Clothing of Books by Jhumpa Lahiri. Now this is a book in which the author talks about book covers and how much it means to an author and how much it can mean to a reader as well. This is probably kind of like a plight from the author's side when it comes to designing covers, because we all know that most of the authors who write books don't have that much of a decision when it comes to the cover of the book. It is always mostly decided and finalized by the publishers, but in this book the author just talks out her thoughts about what book covers mean to the writers, at the same time what it means to the readers also. It's also a very tiny hardback book, okay? If you sit down and start reading it, you can finish it in like 1 hour and 1.5 hours maximum. I sat down and did it as slowly as I could because I wanted to relish and savor each and every line from this book, and it took me 2 hours, okay? I've highlighted a ton of stuff in this book, and there are so many lines in this one which just resonated so much with me. Actually, this is the only book from this haul which I read as soon as I got the package delivered to me, and it was just mind-blowingly beautiful, okay? I know that I'm hyping up this book so much for you guys just while talking about it itself, but if you like beautiful writing, if you like aesthetic writing, I'm sure you'll be a huge fan of this author's writing. I'm just so glad that I've started reading books by this author because I'm just totally loving her writing style, and it's just getting better and better with my experience. The next one is another non-fiction book, and in specific it is a self-help book. The book is The Gut, The Story of Your Second Brain by Payal Kothari. The main reason why I bought this book is because it had a ton of amazing reviews on Amazon as well as in Goodreads, and from my experience with reading self-help books written by Indian authors, especially when it comes to health, it has helped me so much because our Indian authors are the only people who live in the same kind of season and weather we are in right now, and they are the people who can suggest us things that can work out in the most proper way compared to authors from different parts of the world. I read Skin Rules way back in 2021, and after reading that book and implementing a lot of things from it on my daily routine, my skin has become a lot healthier, and I'm also able to see a lot of changes in my body as a whole. I know that the gut health is super important when it comes to our overall health, and it is linked to a ton of different systems inside the body. I've actually started reading the book, and I'm over 50 pages inside right now, and I've learned a lot of stuff just from that itself. So if any of you guys have read this book before me, please do let me know down in the comments how it is and what are all the benefits you got from it. And another thing which I just noticed is that it goes with the color theme that I thought for this video. The next one is a mystery novel, and it is Things in Jars by Jess Kidd. I don't think I'll be able to sum up the plot of this book from the blurb as such, so I'm just going to read it out for you guys. London, 1863. A strange puzzle has reached Birdie Devine, the finest female detective of her age. To recover a stolen child, Brady must enter the dark world of medical curiosities. The public love a spectacle, and this child may well prove the most remarkable spectacle London has ever seen. Things in Jars is a novel unlike any other, one that explores what it is to be human even in inhumane times. The first thing which I want to tell you guys is that it is very refreshing to see a female detective story more than anything else in this novel for me, and it's also not even that big. I think I'll be able to fly through this if I'm not wrong. This sounds very similar to The Lost Apothecary which I read last year because it also happens during the same period in the same setup, but it has two different characters and two different timelines. It is not so here. More than anything, the title of this book is the thing which intrigued me the most, Things in Jars. I've not heard many people talking about this book also on the internet, so I just want to go forward and give it a read. So if you've read this book already, please do let me know down in the comments how it is and what I can expect from it. The next one is a standalone fantasy book, and it also has some tones of mystery laid into it, which is The Beauty of the Wolf by Wray Delaney. This is kind of a Beauty and the Beast retelling, but it is gender swapped. So the beauty here is a male and the beast is a female, which itself sounds like a very fresh concept for me. Okay, that's the main reason why I bought this book. Here we follow our main character who's a prince that is born for this fairy queen, and because of some things that the fairy queen's husband does, a sorceress curses him in the woods, and when the child is born to them, he is born so beautiful that anyone who sees him is enticed so much by his beauty. During the same time, what happens is, miles apart from the fairy kingdom in London, in an alchemist cellar, there is this beast named Randa who's living. Because of some things that happen, the paths of the prince as well as the beast get intertwined, and a story of love, revenge and tragedy is to bloom. From the synopsis of the book and whatever I could read about it without getting spoiled, this seems like a tragic story to me. It sounds like it can have a lot more layers because since the genders of the two main characters have been swapped from the original tale, the things that are to be experienced by both the main characters here are going to be so different. So I'm super excited to see how it goes. The next one is the first book in a sci-fi trilogy, and it is Lifelike by Kristoff. The only reason why I bought this book is because it was written by Kristoff, and I've loved each and every book that I've read by Kristoff so far because I like his prose as well as the way in which he builds the worlds in which he is writing the story. His characters have also been so strong in all the books that I've read by him so far, so I'm expecting the same from this one also. If I'm not wrong, this is a young adult sci-fi series. I read the blurb of the book, but again I'm not sure I'll be able to summarize it to you guys without reading the book, so I'm just going to read it out from the back of the book. It's just another day on the scrap. Lose the last of your credits at the war dome, dodge the gangs and religious fanatics, discover you can destroy electronics with your mind, stumble upon the deadliest robot ever built. When Eve finds the ruins of an android boy named Ezekiel in the scrap pile she calls home, her entire world comes crashing down. With her best friend and her robotic sidekick in tow, she and Ezekiel will trek across deserts of irradiated glass, battle cyborg assassins, and scour abandoned megacities to save the ones she loves, and learn the dark secrets of her past. Again, it seems like a story which will have a lot of backstories for the characters whom we see here, and I also like the found family dynamic that he writes because he does them in a very realistic way. If I end up liking this book, I'll also buy the second and third books inside the series. The next one is the first book inside an adult grimdark fantasy series, and it is The Girl in the Stars by Mark Lawrence, which is the first one inside the Book of the Ice series. The last series which I read by this author is the Book of the Ancestor trilogy. I have reviews for all the 3 books inside the series already out in the channel. You should check them out if you're interested because this is one of the best fantasy series that I've read so far. That is, the Book of the Ancestor series is one of the best fantasy series that I've read so far. It is very, very short, but the amount of things that the author does in the short amount of space that he has is just phenomenally awesome. Okay, if you let me talk about the Book of the Ancestor series, I can just keep on talking about it without getting bored at all. So I'm expecting the same kind of experience in this series also. I'm sure that I will love this book also because in that series I like the world building, the prose as well as the characters so much, and it seems to be connected to that world also in some way. So let's just wait and see how it's going to go. The next one is a YA LGBTQ contemporary book, and it is Pumpkin by Julie Murphy. I've heard about the books by this author so much. Okay, I think she has 3 books out so far if I'm not wrong, and all 3 of them are companion novels. I have the audiobooks of them on Storytel. I'll probably listen to the first 2 audiobooks and then move on to this one. It's also pretty short, so I think I'll be able to finish all the 3 books inside the companion series pretty soon. Here we follow the story of our main character Waylon, who's gay, and he and his sister have this plan to escape from their small village in Texas and go to some city outside after high school so that they can live their lives together without any problem at all. But because of some things that happen, all that plan goes astray. And from all the things that I've read from the synopsis from the cover of this book, it seems like a book which tackles a lot of serious themes but in a very light-hearted and mellow way without making them sad or tragic in some way. Having said all those things, I bought this book just for the price. Okay, it's a hardcover hardcover which I got for just 160 rupees, and I think it is available for the same price even now also on Amazon. So if you are interested in buying the book, you can check it out from the link that I've given in the description. The next one is another YA contemporary book, and it is Act Cool by Tolby McSmith, where our main character, August, is a teen trans boy and he has this aspiration to become a huge actor. He also nails this audition to become an actor and get educated in this very prestigious school in New York. He has this opportunity to go there, and there's this one condition alone that is given to him by his parents, and it is that he must not reveal the fact that he is a transgendered person. He is assigned the gender of a female at birth, and later on he gets to know that he is a boy, and how he comes in terms with his identity by himself, at the same time tries to make his parents understand what he's going through in life during the transition, is the entire plot of this book. Again, this also sounds like a very positive, happy and nice exploration of an LGBTQ theme, because the author himself is a trans man. The author also has another book published before this one. I found that the audiobook of that one is available in Storytel as well. So if I end up liking this book, I'll also try to read that one. The next two books are part of the same series, and they are Blood Witch and Witch Shadow by Susan Dennard. They are books 3 and 4 from the Witchland series. The first two books are Truth Witch and Wind Witch, and between the second book and third book there is a novella called Sight Witch. I am planning to buy the first two books from the series and listen to the audiobook of the novella which is available somewhere. Again, the reason why I bought these two books, even though they are not the first books inside the series, because they were available at a super cheap price. Blood Witch cost me around 120 rupees only, and the last book, Witch Shadow, just cost me around 270 or 280 rupees. It is a huge hardcover and it is also super heavy. I've heard great things about the series, especially from Sam from Thoughts on Tones. She's my most favorite booktuber, and she has talked a lot about this Witchland series before in her channel. Ever since she made a dedicated video for that series, I've been wanting to read it, and finally when I saw the books available at such cheaper prices, I just went forward and bought the books. In this series, we follow one witch per book, and all the 4 books are connected to each other because the witches whom we see here are friends or related to each other in some way or the other. I've heard that the magic system in the series is done really well, so I'm super interested in reading it. Let's just wait and see when I'm going to read it. And at last I have a box set, and it is the Sisterhood Classics box set. I've been wanting to have this entire collection for over 2 years right now, and whenever I found it on Amazon, it was like super pricey, and this box set cost me a little bit. Okay, it costs 698 rupees, but if you buy the books individually, each and every one of them costs around 300 to 350 rupees, which is like so much more expensive than the box set as a whole. So I just went forward and purchased the box set itself. Of the 5 books inside this box set, I have Pride and Prejudice and Little Women alone. All the other 3 books I don't have, but I've read only Little Women. I've not finished reading Pride and Prejudice yet. Now I'll just show you the individual books and tell you what they are about. So from the box set, first we have Anne of Green Gables, which is a children's classic. I don't know much about this book, but I've heard that many people who read this either end up loving the book so much or hating it completely. I've heard many people saying that they don't like Anne of Green Gables compared to the number of people who say that they have loved it. But I want to give this a go because I have not read that many classics in my life, and I want to read a lot more classics because I'm enjoying prose a lot more when it comes to any of the books that I'm reading lately. I know that classics are some of the best books which have the best prose in the world, so I want to give them a chance and read them slowly and savor each and every bit of them. So I'm going to start my way with children's classics and climb my way up to some other classics like Pride and Prejudice, which I tried to read but did not understand. So first we have Anne of Green Gables. Next we have Heidi, which is yet another children's classic. You can just see the cover of each and every one of these books, right? The cover art in these is just super stunning, and they are also super detailed. They even have some very minimal illustrations inside the books. I'm not going to show them to you because I'm not sure whether I can do that or not because of the copyright stuff. But just look at the cover of this book. It just looks super gorgeous. Then we have Little Women by Louisa May Alcott, which is the only book which I've read from all the 5 books inside this box set. I have another edition of the book already on my shelf. I'm not going to lose that edition because that one was also very, very pretty. My only doubt is that Little Women has 4 sisters. This cover has just 2 girls. Where are the other 2 sisters? That's my question. But apart from it, the cover for this one also looks super beautiful. They've also done a great job with the spines of all these books in this edition, guys. Okay, so if you're interested in buying the box set, just go forward and buy it. They are also all floppy paperbacks, so it'll be super easy to read. The only problem is that they are a bit short in size. Okay, the text is good. Okay, it's not very small in size that you'll have to strain your eyes while reading. But as a whole, I'm super satisfied with this box set. Then we have The Secret Garden by Frances Hodgson Bennett. I've heard Manpreet from an Indian booktuber talking about The Secret Garden so much in her channel. Okay, ever since I watched her talking about that book way back 2 to 3 years back in one of her vlogs, I've been wanting to read this classic, but I was not able to find a good edition of it. Okay, all the other editions which I've seen so far have been very, very repelling for me. So when I found that it was available in this box set, it was just an added reason for me to buy it. Again, just see the cover, it is super pretty. I like the combination that they went with in this cover. The pink and the green together in different shades just builds up the background really well, and the blue costume of the main character in the front with the key in her hand just pops out because of the background. And at last we have the most popular of all the 5 books inside this box set, which is Pride and Prejudice. Okay, I've tried reading this book once. I made my way through half of the book. I powered through it, But even with that half book being done, I was not able to understand most of the stuff that was going on in there. I've also heard that many people had the same problem while they read it for the first time. So I'm just going to give myself as much time as I want and read it as slow as I want to, because I know that it is a classic for a reason, and I've heard that all of Jane Austen's books have some kind of social commentary done in a very comical way. All these 5 books with the spines put together look like this. They just look super pretty. I'm going to try and read all of these 5 books as soon as I can. So yes guys, those are all the 17 books that I had in this book haul, and I hope that this video was enjoyable for you. I've also tried to do a lot of different stuff inside this video so that it'll be even more enjoyable for people to watch. If you did like the formatting of this video, please do let me know down in the comments, and also if you have furthermore ideas which I can implement inside my videos, feel free to let them also down in the comments so that I can get some input from you guys. And if you did enjoy watching today's video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and also share it to your friends. And if you want to get more content from me, do subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching and have a great rest of your day.